Okay, so when doing this quiz, first thing you always want to do on these triangles is label your sides, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So the main key here is to find the measure of the indicated angle to the nearest degree. So we're looking at number 1. So here's my angle I want to reference to. This is my angle, and I want to reference all my sides to this angle. So the side opposite this angle, boom, is there, 27. So this is opposite. And across from my 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse. That's my hypotenuse there. Just going to erase that line real fast. And then that means this last side is my adjacent side. Well, whenever it says find the angle, I want to use the inverse. So there's sine inverse, cosine inverse, and tangent inverse. We want to use inverse when I'm finding the angle. So I'm trying to find this angle there. I want to use one of these inverses. Well, sine is opposite, if it'll let me write it. Whoop. It's it won't let me write it. I'm too close to the top of my screen. Well, let's start with tangent. Tangent is always opposite over adjacent. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And sine here is opposite over hypotenuse. So I want to use the sides that have side lengths here. I want to use the sides that have side lengths so I can fill in my opposite and my hypotenuse. Well, this one I have 27 and I have 28, and that's my opposite side and my hypotenuse. So I'm just going to replace this O and this H with those numbers. So I got my question mark equals sine inverse of 27 over 28. I just stick that bad boy in my calculator. I got sine 27 over 28. And I get 74.6. It says round to the nearest degree. So the one closest to it is 75. So 75 is my answer. Okay, same thing with number 2. Here's the angle we want to look at. Let's reference all these sides to this angle. So my opposite side, if I look my opposite side to that angle, is this side here. So this is opposite. And then my hypotenuse is across from my 90-degree angle, so this 21 is my hypotenuse. And then this last side is my adjacent side. So I want to use the side with numbers, so I want to use this side, and I want to use this side. I want to use A and H, adjacent and hypotenuse. Well, the only one with both A and H is cosine. So I want to do cosine of this. So I have my question mark equals cosine. Let me write this down a little bit. My question mark equals the cosine inverse of my adjacent, because it says adjacent over hypotenuse. Here's my adjacent, which is 13 over 21. Of 13 over 21. I just stick this in my calculator, cosine inverse, 13 over 21. I get question mark equals 51.7, which is closest to 52. Same thing with 13. Let's label all these sides. Here's my angle I want to look at. So my opposite side to this angle is this guy here. This is opposite. My hypotenuse is across from my 90 degrees, so this is hypotenuse, and this is my adjacent side. So again, I only have my adjacent and my hypotenuse sides. So the only one over here with adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So I'm going to put question mark equals cosine inverse of 10 over 15. I put that in my calculator, cosine inverse of 10 over 15. I get question mark equals 48.1, which the closest one to that one is 42. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. The closest one to 48 is, of course, 48. 48. So A would be my correct answer there. Now let's look at the last one. Okay, here's the angle I'm looking at. I want to reference all my sides to this angle. So across from this guy, my opposite side is 2. This is opposite. Oop. Opposite. And then my hypotenuse is across from my 90 degrees. So this is my hypotenuse here. That means this is my adjacent side. Okay, so now I have question mark equals, am I going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, the only one with adjacent, because that has a number, and opposite, the only one with adjacent and opposite is tangent here. It has opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to do tangent inverse of opposite, which is 2, over adjacent, which is 5. I'm going to stick that in my calculator, tangent inverse of 2 over 5. So now I have 21.8. Question mark equal 21.8. So the closest one to that is 22. And that's the whole quiz.